Greetings. Peace be upon all of those that's watching this YouTube channel. My name is Lambert C. Davenport, your host from God is King Movement. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the Illuminati agenda with Lucifer, Satan, Iblis, Sat, whichever name you want to call this opposing force, evil spirits, etc. Whatever you want to call them, this opposing force. Today, I was listening to the Kemetic people versus the Hebrew Israelites. And what I saw was a display of arrogance. And what I mean by that is that we as humans do not truly understand nature. Even though we come from nature, we don't understand the Nataru, we don't understand the evolution of nature. If we did, then the insult and the ego and the pride that was in it, and the disrespect that was running rapid throughout this so-called debate, is something that basically should never have taken place. I mean, we're not here as a collective conscious group of people to prove whose way of life or deed or the way that is more comfortable for them, to take it as something less than, or to say that, you know, your way is not the correct way. You know, I'm not a scholar. I don't claim to be a scholar. In fact, I probably don't want to be a scholar, because the one who's the scholar of all to me is the Most High. You can take that to the grave if you want to. But the bottom line is this. As those that are into Kemetic science, they into something called pantheism. And pantheism versus something of the Hebrews who are quote-unquote more to monotheism, or should I say not only the Hebrews, but also the Muslims and the Christians. Another person that's into pantheism is the Hindus. So it hurt me to see that these people are battling off of the very thing that the ancestors created, which was division. Okay? You can have a flower, right? And somebody say, well, the rose came first and everything formed from the rose, right? But you know something? Although everything formed from the rose, that particular flower is not a rose. It's another flower. It's an orchid, something, or a lily, or some other forms of flowers that we gave names to. But within that flower, right, what makes it a ism, a supreme? You know, there's only one supreme creator and only one way, and that way is worshiping one creator only. I study a lot more of Islam because Islam, well, I needed the Islam because Islam is a disciplined belief system. It's a discipline in the mind belief system. Kemet people might disagree with that, but I'm not here for no debates. the time of debating is over. You know, it's about elevating and unifying. And if we can't do that, we'll be divided and destroyed. That's how the universe do things. And with the person that is ruling now, extinction is not a problem for them. I'm sure they love blood and flesh. So my main concern about this whole debate and all of these debates that I watch within the black community or the white community or any other race and ethnicity out there, but especially my black people, because the future is coming and technology is something that we need to really look at because of our position on this planet right now, of our learning capabilities. And although we have some great scientists who created great things throughout the world, old and new, right, seen and unseen that we know of, we in some deep trouble. And the reason for that is because of how we believe, how we think. Now, polytheism or pantheism is a belief that everything that you come into is divine and needs to be respected. So a tree could be divine, water could be divine, fire could be divine. All these things can have divinity within them because they are created by the Creator. Monotheistic people can believe in that because we know that God created everything. So what pantheism does is that they recognize all the attributes that God created and they give hemorrhage to it. You know, they don't really pray to it, or they don't really say, well, like, let's give a fine example. You could go Kemet, but let's do Hindu, right? Hindu, wait, right? Hindu has over probably 330 million gods and goddesses. They say 33 is a core. Then they got 7. They got 9. Something else. It adds up to 31, and then with the 2 others come up to 33 core gods. Now that's all fine and dandy, but that doesn't mean they worship in these 33 gods and goddess, or 330 million gods and goddess. They only truly worship one Creator. And I'm going to explain that, and y'all going to see this. What we don't understand is the beauty of God's creation. Everybody want to be on top, you know, but when you think about it, when you want to be on top, you try to make other people be on the bottom. So our ancestors had created such a spiritual movement that they created the downfall of their existence and our existence as well to be captured. This is not something where we go, oh well, Satan is down here and he's doing what he does and all of us is going to go to hellfire and blah 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 and etc. etc. Well, I'm a person who believes what the Quran said when the Creator was talking to the angels and the angels was talking about about us. Why should we praise somebody who will cause blood and bloodshed on the earth and do all types of other things? You know, And the Creator tells them, you know not what I know, and brought us, atoms, and things to the forefront and gave us the names of these things. And then he said the famous thing, do you not really know what I know, seen and unseen, what you have, whatever. So, with that said, I look at the debate that I was watching, and there was one of the brothers who changed his name, but, people change their names because they believe that this Creator can only, understand ancient language, or you cannot do certain things if you're not into the ancient studies. Now, language is important. Excuse me. Language is very important. But what's more important is the unity that we have right now. We are so dysfunctional, and our unity is pretty much ate up. Now, what are we going to do about that? What can we do about that? We can do a lot of things about that. But the question is, do we want to do anything about that? Because if we keep on these debates about monotheism, believing that God created everything, and pantheism, believing that God is in everything, and basically it's the same. It's a parallel universe. It's the external and the internal. It's the one. It's not two. It's one. And we're debating about this stuff. Meanwhile, our people are suffering every day. Instead of debating so much, why don't we try to really come together and work as a team? The one thing that I can say about those woodpeckers that some people like to call Urugos, or things like that, or Caucasian, or whatever you want to call them, is that they had a tribe of people from different areas, and they conquered the world together. They created the history of the world, they manipulated the history of the world, and so forth like that. Now, am I saying we should do the same thing? Of course not. Because we're not built like that. But we can do the same thing as far as unity. Community, a common unity. And what is that common unity? God is king. No one can deny that. The supreme creator, whatever different names you call him, like if I was in Ghana right now, right, and my strongest background of knowledge that I've known now, that I accepted, is Islam. Now, Islam is not a religion, first and foremost. People who believe that, people who say that, do not know what they're talking about. Islam is a